And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. If you haven't subscribed already, please do hit the subscribe button. And apologies for the late review of this fight. Been traveling. A shout out to everybody in Leeds who took part in the first amateur boxing show for the training cave that was at the Brawn and Fitness Centre, Brain and Brawn Fitness Centre in Morley, in Walsh, Yorkshire. So shout out to all those amateur boxers that took part from the training cave and the other clubs that were there. And also massive shout out to Jack Sunderland for his work and Andrew for allowing me to meet uh, an old boxing hero of mine, a guy I used to support a lot when I was younger, which was Henry Wharton. I had the pleasure of meeting the young man, Henry Wharton, talked about his fights against Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn. Even brought a tear to the eye of Henry as we talked about his career. Ranked British, Commonwealth, European, and world number one super middleweight at the time when he fought Ben and Eubank. Then he went on and fought Robin Reed as well. Sugarboy Malinga. No, actually, Vincenzo Nardiello. So, yeah, Wharton had a great chin and a great boxing history. So, anyway, now for those of you who may or may not be aware, I was commentating on this fight. So for those of you who didn't know that, I've been commentating this fight, and I have not watched this fight on replay. But before we start to shout the words robbery, we start to talk about what happened in the fight, we have to remind us what happened before we were coming into the fight. Now, one of the big things people talked about in this fight or before this fight was Wilder the windmill and Tyson Fury, the guy that was coming back after mental health issues and blowing up to 28 stone, which is well documented. Now, albeit all these things in terms of Tyson Fury and his fitness and his condition and the fact he blew up to 28 stone is his own fault. There was no disease that caused him to get into the condition that he was in. Yes, he made tremendous strides to get himself in shape and get himself back ready to compete at the highest level. That is tremendous. But again, I have to put things in perspective. Danny Jacobs got knocked out by Pirog. We discovered afterwards he had cancer, and he was considered the miracle man. So not a lot of people talk about the miracle man and his recovery from cancer to come back and become a world champion. So I want to put things in balance. I will continue to put things in balance as much as I'm talking about this. Now, before I talk about rematch, again, I'm going to talk about what people mentioned before the fight. Wilder's a windmill. Wilder can't box. Wilder's had poor position. Wilder's a bum. Wilder is, he's terrible boxing ability. He's only got a right hand and very simple. And Wilder's overrated. His punching power is overrated. His boxing ability is non-existent. And he's just got a right hand. Okay. And for people who are supporting Tyson Fury, a lot of them were saying, Fury, particularly Fury supporters, Fury outbox Wilder. He won't get hit. Wilder won't lay a glove on him. Wilder can't touch him. Fury's boxing is so superior. Fury's going to make Wilder look stupid. Fury is going to completely annihilate Fury. Fury's going to do this. Fury's going to do that. Remember, these are things that people said before the fight. These are things that people come on this channel quite often say these things. So a lot of stuff, what people were saying. I'm just reminding people of what was said. Oh, Fury's the best boxer. Fury would have outboxed Muhammad Ali. Fury would have done this. Fury could box Wilder now. He doesn't even need to get in shape. Fury could beat Wilder behind with one arm behind his back. The list goes on what Fury could do as a boxer. Okay. Now the facts. Whether you want to accept them or not. Wilder, we all knew, was a big puncher. We knew that. We knew that coming in. We knew he had a massive right hand. We knew that. But I also mentioned Wilder had a pretty good left jab on him. His left jab was key. A jab that a lot of people didn't give him credit for. Now, I'm seeing people still in here talking stuff about Wilder is the better puncher. That's about it. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to have to clear some things up today and put some things in perspective, whether you want to accept them or not. It's just my opinion. From the outset, and if you listen to my keys to victory for both boxers, remember what I said, the Fury is the better fundamental boxer in this fight. Fundamentally, which means altogether has a better boxing ability, throws better punches, better stance, better balance. Said that about Fury. I also said Fury was an explosive puncher. I said he wasn't explosive. A lot of people said that Fury was going to have the power to knock out Wilder. Didn't see that coming. But I did say that Wilder would have the power to drop Fury. He did that twice. He also had the ability, if you go back and look at the fight, to out-jab Fury. And I think 1 or 2 rounds, I saw Wilder throwing the jab and Fury not blocking that jab. This was later on in the fight where Wilder was throwing the jab. And Wilder was working his way into the fight. And he rushed his punches, which we saw. Now, I haven't watched the tape back yet, but there were things that were stuck in my mind when I remember in commentary where Wilder was laying up the jab and I was warning people that the right hand was coming. It was coming and it was coming. Now, one of the things that people do come out and say, and I was one of these people that came out and said, you know, if Fury had boxed Wilder straight after the Klitschko fight, it would have been an easier fight. No. And I'll explain why. If Fury had boxed Wilder after the Klitschko fight, a few things we've got to mention here. Fury himself said he wasn't in the mental state for the fight. So we may have had a breakdown before the fight or during the fight. 1. 2. I don't know what sort of physical condition Fury would have been in or mental condition going into fight against Wilder. 3. I don't see where Tyson Fury has improved as a boxer. Same old Fury. Same old Fury. And if you listen to my commentary, he was doing the same old things. Backing up against the ropes, hands down by the side. And I was saying, Fury should not be backing it, having his back straight up against the ropes. And I was saying in the build-up to this fight, Fury should not be doing this. He's a better boxer. He needs to take the center of the ring. But for whatever reason, Fury is found great to be clowning. And I said, when Fury clowns around in a fight, that's when he gets dropped. And that's where he first got dropped in the first knockdown. Let's not even talk about the second knockdown for a second. Yes, Fury was boxing and boxing well. But let's get something absolutely categorically clear. If anybody sits here and tells me that Tyson Fury dominated Wilder, if Tyson Fury dominated Wilder, then you can shout robbery. But when you get dropped twice in a fight, that's not dominating anybody. And the fact that you have to go to America, you have to rip the titles away from the champion. And on that basis alone, Tyson Fury didn't rip the title off of Deontay Wilder. You could say he outboxed Deontay Wilder. I wouldn't argue with that. But when you're going to sit down and call robbery, you better have a damn good case that your fighter actually dominated proceedings. And he didn't dominate the fight. So I don't hear any crap about, oh, well, he dominated the fight. Those of you who said that Fury's going to dominate the fight, I said, as soon as Wilder touches Fury, we'll find out where this fight is going. And if there's a rematch, he'll touch Fury. He'll touch Fury a lot quicker. We saw what happened when Wilder connected on Fury. What happened? Wilder connects on Fury, Fury hits the canvas. Let's not even get to them and knockdown yet. Let's not even get there. Now, you can't go to America and pitter patter for 12 rounds. You got to take it away. Lennox Lewis, he got knocked out in South Africa by Hasim Rahman. Everyone likes to talk about that fight. Lewis came back to America and he knocked Rahman out. Lewis fought Evander Holyfield in the first fight to a draw at a fight where it's quite clear that Lennox dominated Holyfield. Holyfield may have won 1 or 2 rounds, 3 rounds max in that fight. He dominated, outboxed him, kept him out on the outside of the jab, and hit him with right hands and uppercuts. Even Holyfield in certain elements of that fight. I can see that's a robbery. The rematch was much closer. And if you're going to score any fight a draw between the first 2 fights, if you were, you would have given it the second fight, Holyfield and Lewis being a draw. No way the first fight. But when you go and you fight in America, we're not in the UK. Historically, if you go to America, you have to beat the champion to win. You have to rip the title away, which literally means knock him out or stop him. Or make it so conclusive there is no doubt. This man got dropped twice in the fight. And in the second knockdown, Jack Reese gave a slow count. Now watch this. I didn't even get a chance, right, to watch the fight on replay when I got a message from Uncle James Ali Bashir. He says, "Did you see the second knockdown?" I said, "No." He said, "He didn't beat the count. That was a 10 count. That was a slow count. Jack Reese started the count slow." And I didn't think much of it. And then you see a lot of videos being posted afterwards of this slow count. Now, I'll say this much. Boxing, we've known for years, has been fixed. And it was never on the cards for Fury to get knocked down in that 12th round. In my personal opinion, this fight was always going to be, as long as the guy went to points, this fight was always going to be a rematch. Why? Because I said, you have one fight here, you have another fight in England, you freeze out Joshua. Now, what would be really funny is if they could get a fight, a rematch in England, freezing out Joshua's next fight. That would be funny. That would be really funny. It would be really funny. And it's something I've said before. So, to me, personally, me speaking, I have not seen the count for my own eyes. Because, like I said before, I was commentating and I haven't looked at the fight yet. So before people go on and start getting up and down and getting tight in their pants, listen, I haven't seen the fight back. But I'm just replaying all what people are saying. So I haven't seen it. I'm not saying what I'm saying. My point is this: Fury didn't dominate that fight. Fury got knocked down twice in that fight. And for somebody who was the second coming of Muhammad Ali by some of you Fury fans, that wasn't the case. And even so, those people are calling Wilder a bum, including Fury himself, who called Wilder a bum, called Wilder useless, called Wilder a skinny basketball player. I would feel ashamed that I got dropped twice by a basketballer and a bum. Now, all of you in here that are jumping up and down about Fury, just remember, you're the same ones that called Wilder a bum, a basketball player, and couldn't box. So if a guy that got dropped and got dropped twice, heavily in the second time, and there's no such thing as lucky punches. And here's another thing. Lucky punches. Well, that means Wilder's thrown 41. No, let me just say that. If there's a such thing called luck in boxing, Then let me explain this. He's in the ring, so there's no luck involved. That's another kind of delusion. How can somebody be lucky when they're in the ring boxing and their aim is to throw punches? A lucky punch would be somebody in the crowd throws a punch when a fighter's not watching and throws a punch and chins a fighter. That's a lucky punch. But the guy's in the ring, it's not a lucky punch. There's a 100% possibility that if the guy throws a punch, it could land. It's just a matter of the two guys are fighting. So now we're talking about whether the fight is going to make him miss and make him pay. So I don't know this thing about lucky punches. But what I do know is this. Fury didn't dominate the fight. Got knocked down twice. And the fight, as far as I'm concerned, was always set for a rematch. That's all I can say. Luis Ortiz had Wilder in far more trouble than Tyson Fury did. I will say that much as well. So when I look at the fight back, I'll be able to give you another opinion on this. So I cannot give an opinion. But what I will say is congratulations to both guys. Heavyweight boxing took on another turn for the better because two of the best in the world, regardless of what those people say, who I don't think understand the sport of boxing, will say Wilder's a bum, or Wilder's this, and Wilder's that. And Tyson Fury himself, when you make ridiculous statements that Tyson made, you have to come back and ask the question, well, Tyson, I don't think anyone will dare ask him the question or have the guts to ask him. Tyson, you got knocked down by a bum. You got knocked down by a basketball player. What is as linear heavyweight champion, you're getting knocked down by a basketball player twice and a bum. Can you explain to me why that happened? So for me, I look at it this way. I just look at things for what people have said. I look at things for what people have said, and I'm just looking at it and think to myself, I think more to myself that putting things in a balanced way, Fury did well. Wilder gave it his best. He talks about him being injured. I don't know if Wilder was injured or not. I do know at certain points of the fight that Fury was showing superior boxing ability. That's what I do know. So, congratulations for Tyson Fury for making a remarkable effort to get back into the world of boxing and to get to the top of boxing and to be able to get up from those two knockdowns and give us a really exciting fight and a real Christmas present early before the end of the year. That's fantastic. And for Deontay Wilder's side as well, to keep trying and to keep trying to land that big right hand. The rematch should be very interesting. The rematch should be very interesting. And I say this much. The first fight, as far as I'm concerned, was set up for a rematch. And you can talk till the cows come home. I really believe this fight was set for a rematch. But every time you discredit one of the fighters, whether it be Fury or you discredit Wilder, you also take away an element of boxing history. And with it, if you discredit Wilder, you discredit Fury. Because if this Fury's a basketball, if Wilder's a basketball player and a bum, then a bum almost knocked out the linear champion. Okay? So just think these things through your mind when you talk about it. And also, when you're going through your records and you're going through your oh, well, I think Fury won that fight 116, 110. When you do that, just think this a second. Let me got a little subtitle at the bottom. Fury beat a basketballer player who's a bum to win the title. When you put that in your head and really put that in your head, you think about it. It doesn't look so good, does it? So for me, personally, I don't want to hear no more of this story of Wilder's Wilder's a bum. Guy did well. And Fury did excellent to come back from where he is. I think the rematch is very different. I don't think technically Fury's going to change. I don't think Fury can do any better. I think Fury can get himself fitter. But I just think technically he's going to keep making the same mistakes when he's backed up. When he's put his back is against the ropes, and he will put his back against the ropes, and he will duck the same way he ducked the same way like next time, and he will make those same mistakes because that is Fury, how Fury fights. He's always on the edge. So he's always going to give Wilder the chance to connect with that right hand. That's how I perceive it. So, and as for Deontay Wilder, I'm just going to put it out there right now. He needs to find now another trainer. There are a couple of guys in boxing, I think, now that need to change their trainers. Deontay Wilder's top of the list. He, at this point, thank you very much, Mark Breland. Thank you very much, trainer. You need to find yourself a better trainer who's going to give you better balance, who's going to give you better core stability, and is going to give you some more boxing skills. All right? You've got a tremendous right hand. Your jab has come on tremendously, but now it's time for you to learn a few more fundamentals, I think. So I definitely think that Wilder needs a new trainer. And while I'm on subject of Wilder needing a new trainer, Joseph Parker needs a new trainer as well. You can just see when a fighter has reached their limit with certain trainers, they both need new trainers. Next thing, as for Fury, a lot of stick was given to Ben Davison. And to be fair, I think I didn't hear what Ben Davison was doing, but I've heard a lot of people say, giving him credit. Oh, there's one other thing I do want to say. I was surprised, actually surprised, in how Fury, for the most part, dealt with the speed of Wilder. I actually thought Wilder would be too fast for Fury. So it shows me that Fury has not only good reflexes, but he also has good timing for the most part. And his hands are pretty decent himself. So I was really impressed. In a rematch, I think actually, if Wilder can close the range down faster this time round, keep Fury to the ropes, and land that right hand without... Yo, LOL, you're discrediting Wilder's power? Yeah, he put him down. That's nonsense. Who are you talking about? I don't know. Somebody else. Anyway, let me for a second close these comments because some of these comments are just ridiculous. I think in a rematch, if Wilder can close the range down faster and get to Fury, if he lands the right hand, we've seen what can happen. I really don't think Fury has improved as a fighter. He's lost weight. But you tell me how much difference there was between that Vladimir Klitschko fight and what he did now. I don't think Fury's improving as a fighter. I think Fury's lost the weight, and I think Fury is just using the skills that he knows and he's got. I don't think Fury's improved, but I think Wilder was able to exploit the holes and the weaknesses which I exposed and showed in the keys to victory for Wilder. So, was he trying too hard with the right hand? Was he injured before the fight? I don't know, because there was some talk about, remember, he was talking about trying to get the fight with Joshua, and then he said he injured his right hand. Now he injured his arm. I don't know whether that's an excuse or not. What I do know is that, like I said before, just to close before I keep repeating myself, I think the fight was set up for a rematch. That's what I believe. So there can be a second fight between these two guys. The one thing I did notice at the end of the fight, when Fury was asked about a fight, a rematch. And he said he was wanting to go and take a break. The impression to me was I don't think Fury was as interested in a rematch as he was facing Anthony Joshua. There was just something that made me feel that Fury wanted to fight Joshua next rather than fight Wilder again. I don't know. That's the feeling I got, that Fury was looking for a fight with Joshua rather than a fight with Wilder. I'd like to see Deontay Wilder and Fury fight again. And then I'd like to see Fury fight Ortiz. And then I'd like to see Deontay Wilder defend his title against either Chisora or White. Just to freeze the whole Joshua thing out the equation. And that they should have taken that fight when they had the opportunity. That's what I'd like to see, personally. It'd be nice to see, actually, a rematch in the UK and freeze out the whole attitude which is out there. Is, you know, you have to come through us to do anything in terms of heavyweight boxing. No, we don't. And Wilder and Fury showed they don't need Anthony Joshua at the table. They've shown that. Because Joshua now is going to have to fight somebody comparable to Wilder and Fury. Unbeaten, young, fresh. I'd like to see him fight somebody young and fresh now, rather than old, over the hill. It's nice to see him fight somebody fresh and young. I'm not too fussed about. I'm not too keen on White versus Joshua 2. That really does nothing for me. I don't even want to see Joshua versus Chisora, and I certainly don't want to see Joshua versus Klitschko, and I don't want to see Joshua versus Michael Hunter. I'd like to see Joshua fight somebody fresh, young, hungry. I don't know yet. I'll have to look and see who's around. I know he fought Joseph Parker, and Joseph Parker was he was young and he was unbeaten, so that's good. But I'd like to see him fight somebody else young. I don't know yet, but I'd like to see him fight somebody young, not Klitschko, not Ortiz. But I'd like to see Fury fight Ortiz. I'd like to see Wilder fight somebody in the UK just to build his profile in the UK. Maybe Fury and Wilder fight one another. If they can't get the rematch straight away, get them both to fight in warm-ups in the UK and then set up the rematch later on in the year. That'd be nice. Fury and Wilder on undercard. Not on the undercard. 2 fights where Fury and Wilder are fighting, not fighting one another, but on warm-ups, and then have that fight somewhere in the summer. That'd be nice. So somewhere around April time or March time, Fury and Wilder fight in warm-ups, and then in the summer, Fury Wilder 2 at Wembley. That's what I'd like to see. I think that's about it from me. I don't think I've got much more to say at the moment. Again, repeated, I have not seen the replays. So I'll watch the fight again. So we'll go back and watch the fight again. I'll go back and look at the count as well, and have my own personal opinion of the count. But that sometimes is a bit annoying. That yeah, let's see what people are saying here. Now, he's not leaving Dees or Breland. They're probably going to bring in someone new to help out. That'd be good. Let's see. Fury all over the place with giving a different answer for rematch. Every day is a different answer. Yeah. Joshua versus Pulev, not interested. Wouldn't mind seeing Joshua versus Miller or Usyk. I'm not here to defend the Joshua story. What's good, bro? Yes, slower. Bro, what's going on? What is going on? Long time no see. Need to be neutral corner before count begins. Nope. Streamed it, I guess. Vegas, baby. Let's see what else people are saying here. But you got anything to say here? Let's see. Fury did look better than I thought he would by far, while Wilder seemed way, way worse than I thought he would. I don't think either one has a good shot against AJ anymore. Oh, come on, man. That you're talking like two of the best fighters in the world, and you're comparing them to AJ. Really? Let me ask you a question just before I close. To all you AJ supporters, yeah? If AJ got hit with that right hand by Wilder, let's say the one that knocked Fury down in the 12th round, do you think Joshua would have got up? People making percentages of Fury's fitness bloody annoying. It don't make a matter of his fitness. His technique at times was not. I'm not using the word laughable. His technique at times was borderline madness. He was inviting Wilder to hit him with the right hand. If you listened, I'm surprised you haven't watched the fight back, Ingram. I'll tell you why I haven't watched the fight back yet. I'll tell you why I haven't watched the fight back. I've come from Leeds after a boxing show. Then from Leeds, I've come down to London. And then from London, I've gone across to do coaching for 2 days. And then now I've just only got off to going to Heathrow and see my grandma on today to America. She's gone to America. So I've only just got back today. So I've had no chance to watch any boxing. I've had no chance to actually do any video. I've got videos to upload. So this weekend I'll be uploading. There'll be it's fight weekend on BWTM. So I'll be uploading some fights for you guys to watch and hopefully an interview as well. LDBC gave respect to Fury, and like you can expect them to big up. Listen. What people say and what they talk about on the channels is down to them, and full credit to what people do in their channel. But this is our opinion on BWTM. So yeah, all this talk about Tyson Fury being a big puncher, clearly he isn't. So there you go. 60%, like, yeah, well, you know what? Well, if you, I keep saying to all these people who keep saying about Fury and his 60%, then ask them to pay 60% of the fight fee. Then pay 60% of Fury's wages. Then do that. Yeah, I don't want to talk about AJ. I'm not interested. Yeah, AJ visiting old folks. I'm hoping for his next opponent. Well, his next opponent could be Vladimir Klitschko. Think about that. Vladimir Klitschko or Hunter. Think about those two guys. Right, I'm out of here. And I will talk to you guys real soon. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, as always. And shout out to my man, World Breaker. I'll speak to you soon. Peace out.